So please sit down, switch off your mobiles, and we will start our master class. This morning dedicated to Viola, and I'm so happy to introduce our new professor coming for the first time to Keshet Eilon, Garth Knox. He's very well known as a player and many compositions, arrangements, and this afternoon we will hear two students playing his own pieces. Okay, so please welcome our next masterclass.
So I think first let's hear the piece and then we can talk afterwards. That's actually 2/3 of the piece. There's 1/3 left. For time reasons, we can't do the whole piece, so we're going to stop there. There's a final section which runs away and goes to the end. The Fuga Libre runs to the end. Very nice. As you've heard, James, there's two places in the piece where you can insert your own cadenza, which is very relevant. If you were here last night and you heard the wonderful concert that everyone gave, playing their own cadenzas, James is giving a wonderful example of two improvised cadenzas in another piece. So great. Good. Thank you. So, I've always thought the nice thing about contemporary music was that if you have a doubt or you want to know something about the piece, you can ask the composer. Because, it would be so great if we could ask Beethoven, why did you write that slur there? What did you mean? But, it's too late. But in contemporary music, you can always pick up your phone and say, what does it mean? What are you talking about? And today we can talk about a piece which I know a lot about because actually I wrote it. So if anyone has any questions, you can ask me. And maybe I don't know what I meant either. So it's very interesting to have this relationship with the printed page suddenly turned on its head because it's just something somebody wrote one day who might change his mind the next day, and you've got to work out on the paper how you can make a convincing performance of what you have before to the audience you're talking to in the situation you're in, which shows that music is a very living thing, vibrant and evolving all the time. So, as I'm here, we can talk about my intentions in this piece. This was written for a viola competition in Japan in 2009. So I was thinking very much of all these people studying very hard for the viola competition, probably suffering very much. And so my image was someone who was practicing Bach, who was actually a bit distracted and started playing other things instead. So there's a bit of I wanted to put a bit of classical stuff in there, but with some contemporary ideas hidden underneath the surface. So it's a double game. And the cadenzas were the ultimate thing of saying, now you have to play your own music to the people, because I thought all these poor people are studying it for so long and never get a chance to say what they think. This is their moment they can stand for. Well, actually, I exist also. And then they go back behind the music stand and disappear again. And everyone who played the piece loved it, and they always enjoy this moment the most, which shows people just waiting to be asked to be creative. And James stepped up, and great. So, into the piece. It begins very tentatively, because when you're playing on your own, you're going to entertain people for like 7-8 minutes. You don't want to give everything away straight away. Right. And it's marked hesitantly, and my ideas, I was using this soltasto effect, because what I like, soltasto is playing down here. What I like is this very breathy sound. So if I was thinking, like somebody's building up the piece, you're sort of on your own, and you're sort of, like you're searching for the piece. How does it go again? Could you try like that? So it's quite far away from the bridge and a bit hesitantly, a bit of bow noise. That's great, and the silence is very important. So especially the first sounds can be a bit longer. And can you just place the first bit? That's great. Yeah, let's carry on. Great, very good there. That's right. You use the edge of it very subtly, and this soltato thing lasts the first few lines, and gradually you get into the normal thing as you get into the swing, and the piece begins to build up. So the first one's great. The next event that happens are these little accents, and as we're playing soltato, these will be accents not with pressure but with speed. And they should sound a bit just where the accents start. So really with no, just speed. Yeah, that's it. That's great, yeah. When you get the double eight, it's like a little bell that rings. But we don't have to do that again. And this brings the first little loop to an end, because the beginning is a series of 3 or 4 loops that build up, and then the piece really starts. So when you get to this part, it's like you're starting again. Right. You've got a bit distracted. Okay, no, back to the piece. That's what I get. Can you just do the last part before the loop? So you need a little more concrete. And now I start it. And here's the sound that's going normal. Yeah, and here's the second person who keeps interrupting you now. You're trying to do something. It's like so it's not you doing it. So when you do, where is it? Like you did. Like you didn't know you were doing it. So the bow has to be. So you can't do it with the whole body, as you're giving the game away. It's something your bow does despite yourself. Yeah. We need a little more time to do it. There's a little boom. This person keeps interrupting you all the time. When the 40 comes, it's the other viola player who's lying behind you playing. So you're playing on two levels, split brain. Yeah. So again, we come to the third loop, and this one, what I wanted to do in the piece was mix in a few different styles, and this I thought about in a Baroque style, so the bowing you do, so lift it, thinking in a Baroque way. Exactly. Yeah, and this is the last loop, and this is very serious. Although you think I've really got to get to this piece going up this time, pulling yourself back to this just directly on there. This is horrible to play, but it's done on purpose. The idea is we're getting more and more tense and crushed that we're about to relax, but it starts out, and the bow can carry you through. That's the idea. Oh, that just didn't sound as horrible as that. Yeah, that's great. And the one to lean at the A flat is your that's the where the B. And we're out of it. Great, yeah. So we get to the big release, and then every second bar is an echo in a Vivaldi-like sort of way, loud, quiet, except you can do things you go much further. So you not only change the sound, you change the dynamic and you change the sound. So this should be. And you notice how a little I'm moving. So this you, with the whole body. Yes, it's a physical thing that you show the movement and you step right back. Yeah, really contagious. Really so. Yeah. That's it. Nice, yeah, good. These little passages, when they come, I want to slip in a little bit of folk fiddle. So there's, so everything that comes here, you can do them quite up the bow. Real like, way down in the string. passage is the daydreaming one, where you're supposed to be practicing Bach, but you get a bit kind of do. It's like a dream of Bach. And it's all the right notes, but they're just in the wrong octave, so that's why it sounds so good. So it should sound very do. Like you've sort of lost the place, and then gradually when it gets to here, then you find the place here. Then you, I've got to get back to this piece again. Can we do the dreamy bit again? You can take time and you slow up if you like. It's really. Now we tighten it. And yeah, good. And this will, when we get to here, this will be folk fiddle again. So up to the heel, like we were doing before. Yeah. This section with the two contrasting bars. The loud bars are sort of bagpipe inspired. So trying to drone as much, even when the harmony changes, you did the D as long as possible. Okay. And the other bars, and the downward, if you can. Everyone hates doing this, but try. Yeah. So nice and sustained in the bagpipe bars and quiet. As again of this person practicing these scales and arpeggios, but it gets out of hand, it goes crazy. This is where the piece breaks down, and we have the catastrophe, and this is where the first cadenza is going to come. But the idea is you're practicing these things, and this passage obviously builds up, it gets more of something and crashes. And you have three things to add. One is a cellerando, one is going to Ponticello, and the other is the other is, what was the third one? There's a third weapon. Yeah, and the dynamic, of course, getting louder. So you're getting louder, you're getting faster, and you're moving, you're changing the sound. So you want to share those things out. Don't do the two things at the same time. You're wasting your ammunition, if you see what I mean. Yeah. So you get faster first, then you add the sound, but you see what I mean, separate them in your mind. So you're not doing everything at the same time, which means you go with a few bars, you've got a lot of things to add to get to the end, till it's all there, and it crashes. Okay. Just where the arpeggios start? Up. Just straight out now. Yeah. Yeah. What happens at the crash is that the low notes separate from the high notes, because in the middle section we're going to be using harmonics and fundamentals, aren't we? And this is where they separate. So the idea of getting to here, and then showing all the harmonics of that. And you can play with this idea. You can change the quality. Alternating between the two strings a little bit. That's right. And that's when you decide to do a cadenza, which I thought yours was very nice, actually. You can do anything you like, you can quote something, it's completely free, there are no rules. That's the difference from last night, it's not a classical cadenza, you can do anything. You could walk out the door if you want to. So, we'll move on now, I haven't got a lot of time. So the middle section, I say, is separating the low notes from the high notes. So this first gesture, it's like you're playing the chondo and then sending the So almost physically. So you play the note. So the crescendo comes late. It's once you play. Like you're separating the bottom and the top. Maybe don't stop it, let it fly away. Yes, let it ring. Yes. But maybe we need to follow through. A longer end to it, probably. Good. Second one starts properly here, and then we get the separation of voices, which you did very well, actually. Yeah, good. So the little trick to that is a strange thing. You're doing two different things on two different strings, which you shouldn't really be able to do together. Yeah. Here you need a slow bow, and here you need a fast bow. So we have to cheat. And when this is left on its own, you can make the most of it. And try and make it last longer than what it runs. I would aim for the bottom string and just touch this one brightly, and then when it gets free, then you speed it. You get it free. Tricky thing. Yeah? Is that right? That one actually you can make it a little bit you want it. And this one is Ponticello to make it mix better. Yeah. All right. It's a D string. Yeah. Yeah. And this could be expressed here, vibrato there. If you can.
I don't know how to do it.
It's very awkward. Yeah, I think. Can you just look at? Yes, here we do. Always that first finger. Exactly. That's it. For this, we're looking for harmonics. Is that right? That's good. And this note can last as long as you like. If you find something interesting, you can slightly change between these. You can experiment with the pressure of this finger, also changes something. You can get more or less harmonics depending on how hard you press here. The speed of this changes it. Where you are here changes it. Which string? You have many things to play. If you find something nice, just stay there. Right. If it doesn't work, just move on. Just on that note, let's see if we can find it. edge, be faster both, less pressure. And here we come to the second cadenza. And the second cadenza for me was bringing the high notes and lows back together again. The first one was separating them, but not that it changes anything. But I thought yours was very nice, actually. Yeah. Okay, so we'll stop there. Thank you very much, James. Good job. Nice. So next, Chaim will come. We'll do another piece by me, one of the Viola spaces, which are little pieces, studies for violas on what they call extended techniques. You're playing number 8, yes?
Yes.
Good, okay. well done. Good. So this is the last in a series of studies. The studies I wrote because I realized there were lots of things I was doing in playing that had never been taught. So there were things like pizzicato or harmonics, or all these normal things, playing sul testo. And I was doing a lot in pieces, but no one ever showed me how to do them. And when I was teaching students, no one had ever shown them how to do them. So I thought it was time we had a study book with these simple, basic techniques, which are seen as secondary techniques, not taken into account in the normal technique. So we included them. So I did all the first lot. And at the end, I thought the last one should be a bit of fun. And I'd done one all in pizzicato, which shows everything you can do without the bow. I thought we should have a study which shows everything the bow can do. So this is obviously a showcase for the bow.
Yes, it is.
It is. And the title, as you may, it's got a strange title. It's called Up, Down, Sideways, Round. And these are the dimensions of the bow. Because, they tell you at the conservatoire there are only two bows, an up bow and a down bow. And this can't be true, It seems very limiting. There are many other directions you can put the bow in. So I wanted to show what the bow could do. Because the bow is a very demonstrative thing. You see what you're hearing with the bow, which is what's so nice about string playing. You see someone playing, you hear them playing as well. So the bow can show what's going on. So I thought, show these dimensions. So for me, I want to explore these dimensions. Literally up, down for me is not spiccato or staccato. Yeah. It's literally up, down. A child of 3 knows where up is. It's not over there. This isn't up, and that's not down. That is up, and this is down. So my idea was to have a bow that would be completely vertical like this. And the first one should be like a tree in the forest. You're standing tall, and if you do it right, it comes straight out. What it means is you really have to trust your bow with this. You have to learn to let it go. If you love something, you let it go. So the idea is to hold it very loosely, and to hold it. There are many ways of holding the bow. It depends what you're playing. If you're playing a big Brahms piece of something, you want this big bow hold like this, get down on the string, hold onto the bow. If you're playing fancy stuff like this, where the bow's moving a lot in your hand, you can see the stretch of the fingers is stopping the bow moving. You want to bring the fingers together, bring them higher as a specialist bow hold for this sort of stuff. And then it allows you to drop the bow quite simply, and the bow will then do things on its own without really trying. Can you show me this first? So, and what I want you to feel is when it hits the string, it shakes, yeah? And you're going to feel that in this hand. Do you feel a little sort of quiver? That's the bow telling you what it thinks. Yeah. And when you start listening to that little quiver, and then you're used to the movement, when you do this, then you have a very agreeable little feeling in the hand. Because when we start to play, it's not, this is Mozart, but this is really vertical, which means there's a little rotation here in the hand. So the closer you get to the tip, better as an exercise. Yeah. That's something else. And that gives you a little attack, which you can then play with. You can do a little more with a bit of noise in there, which is a very nice sound. Exactly. Beautiful. So at the beginning, you start with this big one, then you play behind the bridge. Get this bounce going like a clock, and you're ready to start. You see the beginning? So the tree in the forest first, and the clock. If you can't really work, try to avoid this. Later we'll be doing this, but no, as an exercise, stay where you are. It's isn't it? Yeah. Good. You would think it dimensionally, so you go this, and then you go over the arm, and the top to the bottom. This is the norm, this is the bottom, this is the top, and then you got, so you've got all this dimension, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah? Good, we can go on. Very good. Let me get to this bit. Yeah, good. So here you have to let the bow bounce. You don't try and control it. It doesn't matter if there's more than 4 notes. I just want you to. So we should just do this first. Let's do this first. That's it. And the speed it bounces at depends almost entirely where you do it in the bows. You just choose the right place in the bow for this. Here it's slow, here it's fast. So you find the right. the right place, it does it by itself. That's exactly right. That seems a little fast, doesn't it? So we move up low. That's right. And what's very good is the lift. Yeah, exactly. Great. And now. Don't worry, carry on. You have to let it. That's it. Trust it. Yeah. And I notice you're coming a bit far away from the bridge, where it's less bouncy. You're the bouncy bit of the string is somewhere here, isn't it? Yeah. Good. And this is an imitation of pan pipes. You know, the pan pipes goes. It's a little. So it's the same as vertical. It's the same as what we've been doing, but now we use a little just to get the and a little towards the bridge. Yes. Good. Yeah. Okay. And now we go sideways. And the idea of this is we watch a two-dimensional film for about 2 minutes, and suddenly the thing comes out the screen at you, like the monsters from the planet wearing the special glasses. Because so the idea is to move down the string in a dimension towards your finger. So in slow motion, you could, and you come back like this. And this is done by rotating the hand. It's like if you're holding the bow in the middle, it's this movement. So you roll it around your thumb. If your thumb was square, this wouldn't work. But luckily we usually have round thumbs. And so it's an alternative pulling and pushing between this one and that one. I've done up here, a small movement here gives you a very big movement here. So that here you can, and the interest of the sound is in the brush, it's called a brush stroke. So the sound, what we're interested, we're not, I mean, notes are not very interesting, they're just A and D, but the brush is interesting. So I'm making an accent, it's just a, it's a special thing. There's a cheating way of doing it, actually. If you want to do it quickly, the wrong way to do it is to put your bow up here. Put your thumb here. It's quite efficient. It doesn't teach you much about normal bowing, but it does work. This, in fact, does teach you a lot about normal bowing. All these things, they seem like tricks and fun, but actually they're extremely useful in Brahms, Mozart, Beethoven, everybody. Because you're all working with the same things. It's the thing loosening up your fingers, getting in touch with your bow, and all these kind of things. So just show me in slow motion, down the string and up again. That's it. And if you can keep it, if you can try just rotate it. Exactly. So you're going to work, you see, your fingers being apart like that is actually a handicap. Wait, you want to bring them a little closer together. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Exactly. And the thumb is responsible. It's hard for the thumb, actually. The thumb's to learn to accept this movement. So you want to relax the thumb, try to bend it backwards. That's it. Roll it around. Yeah, that's it. You got it. And you hear the sound. That's the sound we're looking for. That. So just where that starts, you can take it a little slower if you had. So yeah, so there's no movement this way, none. It's all this way. It's all from here, yes. We're avoiding this movement entirely. Yeah, that's right, little brush. Nice, exciting sound. Okay, just there. Good. And then we go back to the vertical. And sideways again. Good, yeah. And you can follow the shape. So the shape. And then you can really bounce, so you start to move a little. Yeah. What we're experimenting in the pan pipe is these different sort of, you can experiment. she's having fun with the bow. Once you trust it and let it go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, can you use that for me?
Yeah, from where?
Where are we? Maybe this would be enough.
Yeah.
Here, on the A. Okay, and now we come to the circular. We're going up, down, sideways, now we're going to go round. The circular is the same as this one, but you now add in what you've been trying to resist doing, which is this. So as this name suggests, it goes round and round. And I personally find it easier to think of this as an up bow. So how one, like you're sort of making a cake or something, stirring something. And I see that. You take all the weight off the bow. Good. That's it. You can be a little active in this hand to make that. Exactly. And again, the more you do up here, the bigger circle. The more you get a bigger circle, yeah. Yeah, it's good. And let your ear guide you to it. When you hear that sound, you know there's too much pressure. What you're looking for. So it's a sound that's above you. It's not there. It's somewhere above you. So all the noise is very welcome. That's what's interesting about the sound. Coming in. Okay, here we have some accents to it. An accent would be one of. So it's a fast stick with no pressure at all. Exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Good. That's great, yeah. And this is a sound that really carries. So you can be really and really quiet it. You listen to the way this dies like a bell. You try to follow. Very good. And here, it's alternative bars of with the hair and with the stick. So you're always turning over when you, or where does it start? This has to do it. Then Lenyo. Hair. Lenyo. Hair. Lenyo. There's always an echo. You just turn them over. And it's a little flick of the thumb. Nothing really moves. You just move your thumb. The wrist doesn't move. That's it. Exactly. Away from yourself, that's right, you're playing like this. Great, yeah, well done.
We're still reversing from start page or
Yeah, we could go again later, maybe.
Maybe.
Here, yeah, or worse. Yes, yeah. Lenyo. Yeah. Lenyo. Yeah. Yeah. The jutatos, you have to use gravity as your friend. So it affects, if you're holding like this, it's hard to use gravity. You want to the more this is vertical, then you can. It's all done for you. Yeah, this is really your elbow. It's this and this. Your arm will go. That's it. And the less of anything else that moves, the better it is. Yes, great. Lenyo. Good. Good. Okay, and now we come to a stroke called the helicopter stroke. And straight enough, I got this idea in a helicopter. I had to play a piece once in a helicopter. The sound stayed with me. It's the loudest thing you ever heard. I don't know if you've been in a helicopter. It's really, really loud. So the idea of this stroke is the same as the circuit thing, but right up here and very loudly. And there are two elements in the thing. There's the noise and the sound. There's the noise and the note, rather. And you can dose them between them, knowing that if you press very hard, you get noise. So that gives you a helicopter sound when you press. And if you move the bow a bit more this, you get more. So you sort of have these two things, note and noise. You can balance them like a DJ, and with the two things, a bit more noise, a bit more sound, until you find the sound that's convinced it has both. But you have to do it up here with quite energetic. And you can hold the bow in a Cro-Magnon way. Just take it like this. It's in your fist. That's right. So it is, you get a lot of weight. That's what a helicopter sounds like. Yeah. And here the helicopter goes away and then comes back. So you slow up. You move up towards your fingers then. Here it comes. And it goes away again. And it comes again. Yeah. So the first step starts down here. It's kind of improvisation on A minor. Those are the four notes. You start in the middle too. You just. Yep. No, here you have to hold it normally, I think.
Yeah.
Because we're back to the. Yes, that's it. Okay, and it goes away again. Back to the fingers. And here it comes again. Good. And the last part is practicing the bounce. So you have 3 practice runs. And the last one. And you have to, the bow actually will do it on its own. What you have to line up all the conditions for it, which means the bouncy bit of the string, the bouncy bit of the bow, parallel to the floor, and when you put the bow down, let it go completely. You have to leave one finger, else it will drop it. But these fingers come right off, so when you drop it, it will continue to bounce on its own. And if you start about here, a slightly slow bounce, and just leave it, you'll find that it'll do it on its own. Just hold the viola very vertical. Let's see. So bouncy bit the string is about here. Nice vertical bow, straight up. You're not turned on its side, so it bounces the most. If you want to hit the string somewhere, the 2 strings. That's it. And take these, especially take these 3 fingers off. So there's only 1 finger left when you drop it. Yeah. Let's see. That's good. Now start a little further up, and it'll last longer. Do a few slow ones to begin with. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. No. Yeah, and think of holding the weight entirely in the left hand. Forget the head. Take the head off the viola, because it doesn't help. You're not going to change position anymore. The piece is over. There's only 1 note. Start a little higher up because it will. And And it has to be straight as well. It has to be complete. It has to be. Yeah, that's right. You want to be starting there and heading, bouncing there, and that bouncy bit of the string. That's it. And really let the bow do it. Pretty good. You've almost got. If you start a little further up, do a few slow ones, and especially let go 2 fingers first. Then when you get brave, let the last one. You take them off one by one. Really good. Okay, thank you. Great. Really, thank you, everybody. Well done, have a good day. Thank you. I'm happy to answer questions either formally like this or informally. Come and see me. I'm around, so very happy to talk about it.